where Judge Henry Floyd says, quote, "The Supreme Court has demonstrated that the right to marry is an expansive liberty interest that may stretch to accommodate changing societal norms." The group says so far this ruling has no effect on North Carolina's marriage amendment, and no judge has found our state's law unconstitutional. The NC Values Coalition will continue to support against same-sex marriage. And joining us now is Charlotte attorney Matthew Fleischman with Rosenstiel Fleischman Law Firm. And thank you so much for joining us today. First of all, and Matt, we really just want to know, so we've established that a federal appeals court ruled that Virginia's same-sex marriage ban is unconstitutional. How does that automatically translate into the Attorney General saying he will no longer oppose any challenges to the ban, even though his office has opposed them in the past?
All right, so the first issue to understand is that the Fourth Circuit controls North Carolina. So you have the Fourth Circuit that controls North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, and Maryland. And there are federal cases right now in North Carolina that the Attorney General is in charge of prosecuting. When the Fourth Circuit in their appellate decision deemed that these bans, these constitutional bans, are unconstitutional, at that point he's taking his cue from the appellate court and saying he's no longer going to prosecute.
So no longer wanting to waste the resources necessarily to do that?
That would be his argument. Now, obviously, there are other people in North Carolina government that would disagree with that, but so far that's what the Attorney General's position is.
So this is being seen as a victory to some, but this is far from being over. Are you seeing appeal in the future here?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it would be surprising if the defense in this case did not appeal this to the Supreme Court.
What about precedents? What type of precedents do we have to fall back on for this type of potentially changing the law in North Carolina?
It's a great question. I mean, so what the appellate court looked at was primarily case history in terms of governments, state governments trying to impose their will on individuals to marry. So you've got the Loveless case, which is also a Virginia case, which limited whites from marrying anybody else other than whites. You've got other instances of state governments trying to limit the ability for people to marry. This is what the court focused on, and basically their position was that marriage, including same-sex marriage, was a fundamental right, and really that's what the fight was.
So just to clarify, North Carolina acknowledges marriage between a man and a woman. This ruling doesn't change that right now, so the state will still not even acknowledge same-sex marriages from other states, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay. Well, we'll certainly definitely follow this a lot more, so hopefully you can come back and join us in the future. But we do have some folks who tweeted about this as well. This is obviously generating a lot of discussion on Twitter. We have Mason saying, "I have a feeling that same-sex marriage will be allowed soon in North Carolina. Honestly, in our lifetime, it'll probably happen in every state." Jordan saying equality for everyone. Sean saying the North Carolina same-sex marriage ban will soon fall, and our LGBT brothers and sisters will gain rights. A lot of people just really chiming in. Way to go, Virginia, says Heidi. Thanks again, Matt, for coming in.
My pleasure.